Hey everyone, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. Well, today we're back with the new Wrangler here for the next modification, or this time I should probably say accessory. If you remember, the first mod was the small mud flaps. Second was the window tint. 35% on the front, 5% on the back to cover up the roll bars that you can see through the window. But today is going to be a cargo mat DIY. I wasn't happy with any of the findings that I seen online. The one directly from Mopar is all but a joke as far as coverage goes. It comes to here on both sides, so it leaves all the rest exposed, which I'm guessing is because they want you to be able to get to your tie down straps, but I can't really see too many people really needing to use those. And if you do, what I'm going to do here, you'd still be able to use them. You would just need to cut slots in the rubber mat to let them stick up through like some of the other offerings that I've seen online. But none of these are cheap. They're all $100 on up, some up into the $160 to $180 range. And like I said, most just leave a lot to be desired as far as their coverage on both sides. Some get kind of full coverage, but they're pretty thin, and I don't know how well they would hold up. And the ones with the lip on the back, I think that would almost be annoying as far as loading stuff in and out. So I'm gonna end up doing my own. It's one of these industrial mats. I got it from Lowe's. You probably could pick one up anywhere. It's a 1/2 inch thick, and it was 4 feet by 6 feet. And we're gonna cut it almost in half, not quite. For the rear here, you're going to want 38 inches from the back of your seats out. So that'll be the front piece here, and then that'll leave you with a 34-inch piece, which will get you a mat to cover your back seats when they're folded down as well. So for $59, you're getting the cargo one and the one that'll cover your rear seats. So it's going to be a fraction of the price of anything you could buy. 1/2 inch thick, which is far thicker, and it's going to be way more durable. These are like industrial mats. They use them in garages, like in front of workbenches, or even like horse trailers probably use this type stuff. This has the diamond texture, not just like the plain. And the back side is relief cut, so it's not a full 1/2 inch thick, so that reduces a lot of the weight. But it's a 1/2 inch thick at the ribs, and then they groove some out just to lighten. Otherwise these would be extremely heavy. But real nice diamond plate texture, and it's gonna work out great. I did have a lot more in-depth video of cutting this out, but that phone crashed and all that video was lost. So I'll go over here how I drew this template, because you're gonna have to notch for your rear gate here and everything else in the back here. To rip this in half, I just used a circular saw. Again, like I said, you need a 38-inch piece for the trunk, which will leave you a 34-inch piece for the back of the seats, which you don't really need quite that much, but I'll just overlap, and that'll end up making it a little bit flatter, because the seats on these are not quite flat with the floor. So overlapping like 4 inches at the seam will just make that a little more level. Plus it'll give you good coverage at the seam. But I'll show you how we cut that. And as far as doing all the fine cutting, once we ripped it with the circular saw, I just used one of these oscillating multi-tools, trim tools, whatever you want to call them, and it cut this rubber like butter. So I'll get these templates that I made out here and I'll show you that part. Alright guys, so here are the templates I made. I just used some thin cardboard style paper and then just trimmed around all the protrusions here in the trunk. Same on the driver's side here. And then notched this for the indent of the gate when that comes shut. So I just made a rough template with these and then transferred it over onto the mat, as you can see here. And then just trace that all on here with a pen. And then cut it with that multi-tool. Same with the other side. And then you have this strap here in the back, which kind of is in the way for anything. It's just constantly here. If you're loading stuff in and out, and you really don't need it, you can grab right here and lift this up. And it tends to want to push your mat up. So no matter if you buy one or make your own, this kind of is in the way. I mean, you can leave it, but it's a whole lot nicer and doesn't pucker your mat up if you would remove it. And to do that, you just lift this up. And you can see here, it's just a tab. You push that up along the strap flush to be able to pull this up like that. And then this will just pop out. So you just fold this tight up against the strap and then it'll slide up through there. And I'll just put that here in this little tray. That way it's always with the Jeep in case I want to put it back in. But it makes it so much nicer. You don't have that there in the way. And even if you aren't putting the mat in, it's not going to be in your way when you're loading stuff in and out and always catching on stuff. So that looks much better just doing that regardless. So here it is, installed in the Jeep. Came out great. When you are doing your measurements, I forgot to mention before, you want to keep everything in line with this rear rubber seal because your tailgate does come in just a little. So all my templates were in line with the edge of this rubber. But then you just trim, like I said, around everything. Take your time. The templates are the most important. You want them to be pretty much exact. But as you can see here, it fits beautifully. Notch there, right across the back of the seats. And the same on this side. All your cuts, extremely tight. And then this comes up a little bit as it comes because that's just the way. If I pull this up, you have a hump back behind here. So it just rides up on that, but it looks great. Goes right underneath your plastic panel here and then drops down. And then you need to cut this big corner piece out to follow your tailgate piece that sticks way in. I'm not sure why they do that. There should be much thinner way of getting the latch in there, but I mean, that's a huge piece that sticks into your trunk and really makes for this odd shaped corner where you can't have any protection because there's absolutely no clearance underneath here. That rides in almost right against your plastic trim here, so nothing's gonna fit. But I'll close this gate and show you what it looks like from the front side and the back here, how tight everything fits. So here is with the seats down. You can see it comes right here to the edge of the metal seat brackets. So that's how I measured for the back, right up against those metal brackets to the rear gate. Like I said, that measurement was 38 inches. And then you can see there along the back, again, the cut just fits perfectly tight. Same with around this big indent there for the trunk gate there where the latch is. You can see that fits perfectly. So very happy with the way this turned out. I wasn't sure when I first started how good a fit we were going to be able to get, but I am so glad I went this route over buying anything. It's far tighter tolerances around everything and gives you the maximum coverage compared to anything you can buy. Plus, like I said, for 59 bucks I can get the rear and for the seats, whereas a lot of just the rear ones are between 150 and 200 bucks. Some of the very cheap versions are 89, 99 bucks, but the quality is fairly poor. So next up here, I'm going to cut the remaining piece for over the seats. I'll need a notch here, and I'm going to leave it the full 4-foot width, so it should go from the edge of the seat to the edge of the seat. So it'll be pretty much full coverage here as well. And then the 34 inches, I'm going to keep it pretty much tight up against the seat. I don't want it rubbing the seats, but I'll probably keep it a 1/2 inch off the seat. And then whatever it is, I'm not going to rip it. It's going to just be the 34 inches. So it should overlap here 2, 3, 4 inches, something like that, which will make this much flatter in through here. So I'll get this other piece cut here next. It's not going to be much cutting on this one. It'll be a whole lot easier. It'll just be the notches there on both sides for the front of the wheel wells and your seat belts. One on that side there and over here. So I'll get that done next and this project will be done. But it is just coming out beautifully. Very, very happy with the way this cut and was able to be fit very cleanly. So I got this side marked here. It's going to be the rough first cut. Hopefully we'll see how well it fits and adjust from there, but you can see the line here. So I'll get this multi-tool fired up and trim that in. Alright guys, it cuts just that easy. Like I said, this thing makes it cut like butter. So I'll test fit this and see if we need to make any tweaks. I had it a little extra just in case we do. Well, for the first test fit, it's looking mighty good. So that's what it'll look like. Still got to do the other side there, but gives you full coverage all the way up to the backs of your seats. And all that coverage for 59 bucks. Certainly can't beat it. Comes right here to the edge of your seats. And that's the 4-foot full width. I didn't cut anything there. And then, like I said, for the front piece here, your cutting is very limited. All you gotta do is notch for your rear wheel well there, And look at that first attempt there on that cut. I think we're good. Little notch there for the seat belt. I was gonna even leave this piece, but that was getting too picky. I'm like, nope. This piece isn't always gonna be in where you see it day in and day out. It's just gonna be if you're hauling something, going camping and want the extra coverage. And to leave that little piece, I was not about to be bothered. So I just cut it nice and straight, tight against there, and then radius this right along your wheel well. But that is looking perfect. So I'll see once if this is exactly the same for the other side. I know the back piece there was not the same side to side. Well, you can kind of see already there was lots of differences, but if this piece looks like it'll be similar, I'll just flip it and use it for a template on the other side. But again, I'll double check to make sure that wheel well isn't different, because pretty much everything for the back piece was. So one more cut over there and this project will be done. Looks amazing. Alright guys, so it does look like the passenger side is the same for this piece. So we'll be able to take the first piece I cut out and just flip it over. And then I will trace around that. And then just trace it. Alright, that looks good. So then we'll just cut that out. Alright, so there's the two pieces that we cut out, which was perfectly the same. And it fits beautifully. About a finger's width away from the seat so it doesn't rub them. Right to the edge of the seats on this side. And again, the cut fit right around there perfectly. And that's what it looks like from the back. So excellent, excellent coverage of high quality 1/2 inch thick mat for 59 bucks. You can't beat it at all. And again, this back, it is just amazing how precise the fit came out. And then this other piece you can just roll up with those relief cuts in there. It makes it very easy to roll up, so you could roll that up and store it here in the back, or just take it out of the Jeep completely. But that'll give you excellent coverage for when you need to put your seats down. And if you didn't care about boogering up your Jeep or anything, you probably could roll that up and stick it between the window and this roll bar. So if you had an older Jeep and weren't too worried about it getting dirty or beat up, that would probably be a very good place to tuck it, and it'd be out of your trunk space and always with you. But for me, we only have that down if we're going camping, so I'll probably keep it in the garage somewhere and then just use it as need be. But like I said, you could easily roll it up and stick it here in your trunk, which I'll probably do if we're going somewhere and gonna haul something big. I'll just throw it in the trunk here when we get there, put the seats down, and then I'll have it with me to put in. But I don't like to leave the seats down any longer than necessary, because they do tend to get creased up the longer they're in the storage mode. But there it is, guys. Close this up again. Came out great. Alright guys, and one final thing to make it even look more professional, just take some alcohol and a rag, and then just go around where you made all your pen marks, and it'll take it right off, so that way you don't have all those pen marks showing. Just like that, dries instantly, and all those pen lines are gone. Go over here to the other side and do that. Lightly rub the edge there where the pen marks were. And again, the measurements for these mats were 34 inches for the one that goes on the backs of the seats when they're down, and 38 for the one in the trunk. And like I said, that's just cutting a 4-foot by 6-foot mat. So you had 6 feet to work with. I made the back 38 inches, and then the 34 is just what's left, and I just use the excess to give you good coverage here where it overlaps, as well as it makes that even more level, because as you can see, those seats aren't very level with the trunk floor. So the more length you have there, the better. It makes that blend in a lot better. But that's gonna wrap this one up, guys. All right, guys, well, thanks for following along on this little project here. I think it came out really good and was a nice cheap way of getting cargo liners for your Wrangler. It would work on the JKs as well as the JL here. Your template for the JK would definitely be a lot different, but it could be done. And like I said, you can get the mat for 59 bucks at Lowe's and probably some of your similar type stores. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below. If you're new here to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to keep these videos coming. You can also follow me on Facebook. The link is in the description below.